Yo, 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 welcome to the show. Welcome to the Social Sunshine Podcast, episode 213. I'm your hostess, Brittany Crossan. Thanks so much for being here for another episode. We're going to have just a quick conversation, but it's an important one. And the question we want to be asking ourselves as social media creators is, why would someone want to follow me? Because I think that it's very easy for us to innocently lose sight of that or have never had sight of that. I think that unfortunately people aren't going to just, follow me because I'm a nice person. They're not going to just even follow me because I'm cute. Believe it or not, they're not going to. And that's not how it usually works. Unless an entire brand, I guess, is built around beauty, then sure. But otherwise, you really have to give people more of a reason to want to follow you. And I had this topic on my list to talk about on the show for a while. And then it came up the other day, actually, with one of my Fun Love Media team members. And he gave a specific example of kind of the situation where it's like, why does this person have the amount of followers that they have? And so we're talking about, I'm going to get it pulled up on TikTok. We're talking about this girl known as Tube Girl. Her TikTok, we'll put it on the screen if you're watching the YouTube version, but it's Sabrina Bassoon, I believe. And she's got on here that she's London's Tube Girl. And you may have seen her videos on TikTok if you're active there, where she's got her camera zoomed out a bit. So it has like a kind of a different look, really, when she's filming herself. And then, excuse me, sorry. Excuse me. And then she has like a lot of movement, and there's wind catching her hair and all this stuff. Anyway, you can go and look her up on TikTok. And as of the conversation that he and I were having about this, he was saying like she only has 600 and something thousand followers, yet like all of her videos have millions of views. Now, just 600,000 followers, it's relative, okay? Like that's a lot of followers, but it's relative to what he meant was like it doesn't quite match up because all of her videos in recent times, like, I mean, millions of views, 7 million, 23 million, 11 million, 2 million, 3 million, 2 million, 3 million. I mean, 15 million, 3 million, 5 million, 8 million. I'm looking at, it's a lot of views. And you would think her following might already be in the millions, essentially, is what he was saying. And I have a theory on this, and it goes with this whole topic of why should people follow me. Now, her account could grow, of course, over time, and she could end up with millions of followers if she keeps going. But the thing is that I think that it's quite possible that maybe there's a lack of like emotional connection. A lot of people need that in order to decide to follow an account. It's actually pretty deep, and it's a decision that's made really quickly. It's really, honestly, very fascinating. Again, I really need to have a psychologist on the show to talk about like the fascination I have with all these things with social media. But, people do make these decisions quickly, right? Like suddenly, am I going to follow this account or not? Right. And then they scroll right past your fucking ass if they're not going to. But even though it's a quick decision, it's something that's felt usually pretty deep, or you're simply fulfilling a need that individual has. So in her case, maybe, she's really got videos that are, that have like a really high chance of virality, that look really cool, that have like this neat effect, and she's attractive. So it's nice to look at the video, and, there's cool music happening behind it. So it's like this really cool, entertaining experience. But maybe there's just not enough of a connection with like, I need to follow her because I care about her story, or she's going to do this for me. You see what I'm saying? I mean, no hate, shout out to her. I hope she grows to have millions of followers, but she's just a really great example, and I found it to be really fascinating. So all of us as social media creators, as business owners that are creating for social media, we have to keep in mind that question, why would someone follow me? And again, it's not because you're nice. It's not because you're cute. It needs to be a little bit deeper than that. And it doesn't have to be life-changing or life-saving and crazy deep. It just has to be something substantial enough to make someone tap follow. And usually, like I said, it's either there's an emotional connection that they have with you or with your story, whatever they saw described or depicted in the piece of content that they saw of yours, or you're fulfilling a need, you're a solution, you're a problem solver for them. And that's why a lot of times I'm talking about on social media, we have to do at least one of three things, which is inspire, educate, or entertain. Or you can do two or three of those things. But, if you're inspiring people, if you're educating people, or you're entertaining people, then as long as you're doing at least one of those three things on a consistent basis, then your content is considered to be valuable, and even if it's entertainment. And, think about all the funny people out there that have accounts that have so many followers and so much growth all the time. That's valuable to people. If they want to be able to laugh, and that's really a priority to a lot of people, then that person's going to grow and they're going to get a lot of followers because they're showing up consistently and they're kind of providing that version of value. If you're educating, then that's a whole other one, right? Like you're probably helping them solve a problem. No matter what kind of education it is, this is a very open, broad thing. It could be whatever your thing is. It could be whatever your expertise is in your business and your brand, or it could be something that's not even about your business. And it's just a great way for you to network on social media and make connections and then build your business that way, So you got entertain, educate, and then inspire. And we all know what it feels like to be inspired by somebody. That feels really good. And that's really valuable. And that's emotional too. So you're just really knocking it out of the park if you can inspire people on social media, in my opinion. And I think that it's hard to do this, and everybody's going to be different on how to take a step back and look at their own account. I've had to do this multiple times over the years. I mean, I've been in the social media game since fucking MySpace in 2003. And I've been creating ever since then and exploring and experimenting and doing all the things. And what I have found is that I really have to check myself every once in a while. I have to go in and go, okay, what's still working? What's still feeling good? What's not feeling good? What's a pain in the ass to complete, and what can you work into your life and into your business? And I have to do that. And I usually do that. Honestly, I probably do that every year. Once a year, I really evaluate how my social media content is feeling, how it's working, if I think it's effective, if I'm enjoying it or not, and all the things. So you have to do that as well. If you are the kind of person that likes to have, a trusted person's opinion, then do that. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not. I guess it just kind of depends on what kind of person you are. If you are that kind of person though, and you have somebody that you trust and you can ask to give you their honest feedback on your content, cool. If you want to ask your audience, which of the things that I share are the most valuable to you and the most helpful to you, do that. If you're good at just digging deep and evaluating yourself and being real with yourself, do that. But you really, really got to be self-aware, right? To be a successful social media content creator that stands the test of time, that plays the long game, that keeps showing up and keeps posting things and continues to build this brand over time. You have to be self-aware. And this is another reason why, as far as being self-aware, why I highly recommend that you go back and look at your own stuff. I've talked to people that say they never watch their own stuff. They never listen to their own podcast. They never go back and look at their old posts, and I understand sometimes we got to cringe a little bit and be like, oh God, 3.5 years ago, me was kind of cheesy. I've been there plenty of times. It's whatever. It is what it is. It comes with the territory. But to be able to go back and watch your own content and look at your own content and study it and learn from it, that's a fucking superpower, dude. It's really effective. Think about athletes, how much they're watching tape of, sorry, I'm not a sports person, but I know they do that, right? And they're watching footage of games and of plays and all these things, and they're learning from themselves, they're learning from others. I mean, think about somebody who's taking golf lessons, right? Don't a lot of times they set up a camera so you can watch your own swing. You can see how, it's the same fucking thing with creating for social media. You've got to go back and look at your stuff so you can learn from it and grow from it. And you can decide, do I want to keep doing that or not? Is it effective or not? And is it giving people a reason to follow me or not? All right. I hope this is helpful for you. And hey, if it was just based on following you because you were nice and cute, of course we would all follow you. You're totally nice and cute. But we got to take it a step further when it comes to social media. Please always reach out if you have questions. The Social Sunshine Podcast is on all the main social media platforms. I am on all the main social media platforms. We'll include all the links in the show notes to make sure you can connect with me and with the show anytime. If you have a question about this episode or any other episodes, please reach out. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you. That's what the show is all about, is to help all of us grow on social media and beyond and make the positive impact on the world that we are all meant to make. So thank you so much for listening or watching. I'll talk to you later.